make a coaching change and see what happens. If that don't work, then start moving those players.
Like what other team did that's number one in the West right now? The New Orleans Pelicans getting Willie Green. Perfect example, because we asked ourselves this question right after the playoffs ended last year because they were a playing team. We were like, oh, when Zion comes back, I don't know, are they going to be that much better? Because we've seen teams make a stride and then they get their best player back and they're just not the same. Clearly, they are a better team with them because we've seen them not play some games. They still end up winning games somehow. So that's even better. But because you're not going to get Zion for a complete season. It's just the reality of it. Yeah. But Zion averaging like 24 points, 8 rebounds, and on efficient shooting, I think almost near 60% shooting. So it's just like, and it's a shame because, like I said, 10 years ago, if he had the number one seed and he averaging around these points, he'd probably be in the MVP conversation. But the fact that it's kind of difficult now if you're not averaging 30 is just the type of league we watching, to be honest. But yeah, like Willie Green, who was the coach before Willie Green? Alvin Gentry? Was he coaching?
Alvin Gentry, yep.
See, it was that simple. Like, they didn't make any drastic roster changes besides Brandon Ingram was already there. And then you got the only one they made was getting CJ McCollum.
And
they just got a different coach.
A big one. And then also
it is.
And two big draft picks and Trey Murphy, who's playing great, and Herb Jones. Yeah. But to your point, does that happen still? Because you even look at it, they had talent back when Stan Van Gundy was a coach.
That's my point.
That? So you know, it was Stan Van Gundy was their coach. So still, I was trying to remember the order of coaching to Alvin Gentry coming. I think Van Gundy came.
Van Gundy was after Alvin Gentry because Alvin Gentry was there a while.
Yeah. Van Gundy came after. Yeah, and Van Gundy just, I mean, they had a little bit of a moment where they had something, but couldn't really keep it consistent. Willie Green came in. We've seen these huddles and these mic'd ups and all of that. He's known as being this great motivational coach and all of that stuff. Yeah, that coaching change can mean a lot. To your point, Carl, Zion, I mean, I hate always moving the MVP conversation and adjusting it on a basis because we do it a lot. But the case is what it is. They're number one in the West. The efficiency is off the damn charts, and he's playing defense this year. That's scary. It is not all defensive, but he's making these strides on the defensive end. And you know how I feel about that. That's what's making him so scary, and the efficiency is off the chain. Hell yeah, they have to keep it going because you can move that number. You can lose that number one spot within a couple of days. But if he keeps it up, he'll be top 5 in the MVP combo if he can keep it up over the next couple of weeks.
I've actually seen him shoot a couple turnaround jumpers. I don't know if you all have, but he's shot like a couple, more than I've ever seen him shoot because basically 2 is better than none because I've basically never seen him shoot any. But him shooting some 3-point shots, him shooting some turnaround jumpers tells me he's probably been in the gym this summer working on his body in terms of just being in conditioning and everything like that, and shooting jumpers. So that's another stride he took.
It'll come in handy, especially come playoff times. I do expect New Orleans to stay up towards that. I hot take. I do expect him to stay top 5 in the West.
I do too.
I expect him to stay top 5 in the West. Carl don't like that.
No, I'm gonna say something even crazy, but go ahead.
But no, I expect them to stay top 5, and I think they'll make. I wouldn't say deep run, but I think they'll get kind of far in the playoffs if all goes according to plan. Everybody stays healthy and all that.
Yeah, this is my hot take right now. I'm gonna say it. Seeing how they've played over the last week and a half, I think I can see a world to where they're either 1 or 2 in the West.
I can't see it. I was finna say that because I'm also thinking too, there's no clear-cut favorite in the West right now. The Suns can get beat in the 7-game series. The way Golden State's looking, I mean, even if they end up top in the West or wherever, they can end up getting beat in the 7-game series. Anybody in the West can get beat in a 7-game series right now. So in the way New Orleans is looking, they are an elite 2-way team. They are a top defensive team. They are a top offensive team. They're on a 5-game winning streak, and they're remaining at the top of the offensive rating rankings without Brandon Ingram. You understand that? CJ McCollum's playing like shit over the last couple of games. That man has single digits. I forget the number. I just looked at his numbers. That man ain't been playing well at all, and they still have a very high offensive rating.
That's why people in sports try to tell you defense wins you a lot of championships or wins you a lot of games. Because guess what? When your offense I would say when your offense isn't efficient on that night, you can always hang your hat on defense. Why? Yep. Because it's going to keep you in the game, and that's what they've been doing.
And the scary thing is they're getting so much offense even without their best players playing that well. You know what I'm saying? Like Brandon Ingram has not been there over this 5-game win streak. McCollum is not playing great basketball over his last couple. Yeah. Let me give a shout out to some of these young guys too. the shit that Trey Murphy's doing, that man is like 48% from the floor and 41% from three. You know what I'm saying? Like some of like the way, like one thing we admired about this team last year in the playoffs is how they had so many young guys, so many rookies coming in the game and making high impact defensive plays or whatever the case may be in a series against Phoenix. We saw Jose Alvarado get up under Chris Paul's under Chris Paul's skin.
Yeah.
We saw Trey Murphy compete. We saw Herb Jones compete. That team had a big chip on their shoulder coming from last year into this year. And that's the benefit of having young guys. This team is going to be so good for a long time because you have young guys who were so exposed to those big moments early. I don't care that they lost in the first round or whatever the case may be. That playoff success or that playoff run they had last year, it's going to carry into this year. It's going to make it. That's why I think they can make a deep run because they've got that experience and they've got that big game experience they had last season moving into this year. So,
you just mentioned Jose Alvarado. I just want to say shout out to him. He had 38 points two or three nights ago. 38 points for a player like him is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
You said he was actually.
Yeah, he had an out-of-body experience, like Draymond in the finals that one time. Everybody know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He had 40 points. He never had a game.
He had 4 points damn near playing the whole game.
I remember you told me that. I said ain't no way, because I don't remember none of them.
Dude, Buddy had about 7 threes too.
Man.
Bro, the crazy thing is, I was watching the Warriors game. This is just out of topic. We can get back on topic in a second. I was watching the Warriors game. I think it was three or 4 days ago. They said that is the first time Draymond Green hit a 3 in back-to-back games all season.
Really?
So that means he hit 1 3. He didn't hit another 3 in the next game. That is terrible. I just wanted to put that out there. I'm like, what the hell? What does that even mean? Because you would think he's an NBA player that can at least make I don't know, but whatever. But yeah, still, the Pelicans, I definitely expect him to stay between 1 and 2. Yeah. I might say 1. I'm going to be honest with you because I like the way they play.
Yeah.
Because the thing about Phoenix is, they can have these stretches where they look really good on defense and offense. Then they have weeks where they get blown out by Dallas and
Boston.
Dallas and Boston.
Yeah.
So
it's a matter. It's about, like I said, it's a matter of consistency for this team. But I think they can keep it up because they've got this experience. And like I said, a big playoff run. This is one last point here, but a big playoff run for Zion can mean a lot for him. I hate doing this all the time, but we always do these top 5s and all of this stuff and, X, Y, and Z. We just talked about the top 5 and who's the top 5 player in the game. What a big playoff run could do for Zion Williamson. NBA's been waiting for that. I know there's a lot of guys who are saying he's the number 1 guy, but Zion was the hypest draft prospect since LeBron when he came in, right? So what a big playoff run will do for Zion. Mm-hmm. It'll catapult him so much higher over so many guys. So just keep you on the lookout for that. This season, it's no pressure on him, but just think about how things will change as far as how we're looking at the top 5s and these players or whatever, if they can keep it up and if the Pelicans are able to make this big run. I wouldn't think it's crazy to see them make it to the finals. That's how open the West is. So think about what that'll do for Zion moving forward, the way he was advertised. Think about what that'll do for him if he's able to make a deep playoff run.
I'm not gonna lie. I was just looking at some of the standings, and the West is just, I don't know,
so close.
Yeah, it's really. I don't like to say the West. Well, I do like to say the West has kind of been talent-wise. They have kind of been dominating the East for the past 5 years, but now, dude, it's just going up and down. Looking at teams, off the top of the head rosters, man, it's just like, geez, it's so tough. And there's no cut. Like I can't even say. I mean, when you talk about Dallas, that's just a one-man show. LA, the Clippers, Golden State, they'll probably get it together. LA, they got some work to do, even though they have been doing their thing. Only 3 teams I can really think of that really could make some noise: Memphis, Phoenix, New Orleans, and maybe Denver. I'll say 4, maybe Denver.
Golden State.
You gotta get it together.
I wouldn't even. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't even say Denver. I don't even believe in Denver.
I don't believe in Denver.
And I still I might agree with Blake with Golden State because they've been so inconsistent. Right when I think they're about to get it going and everything, Steph doesn't play. They rest some people, and then they might win that game without Steph. Then Steph's come back. They might lose 2 in a row. win 2 more in a row. So it's going to be a 500 team. So I don't know how that's going. I would have to really kind of look at what type of team Golden State is going to be, especially going into the playoffs. Because I'm assuming they make it. I want to see how well they play probably 2 months from now.
Yeah.
At least 1 month from now to kind of determine